Good morning traders, I'm Luke from Discipline Trader. Today is the 4th of May 2017 and I'm going to do some more live trading today. As you can see, we're on the FTSE 100 and it's actually 8:37 at the moment. This big green bar here was the 8 o'clock open candle. Since then we've not really had a lot of movement. We've pushed up higher into today's R3 and we're currently pulling back into this support and resistance area down here. As you can see, this is made up of today's R2 and R1 and also a 4-hour support and resistance band I have at this level. So the current trade I guess that I'm looking at would be a trade long from this area. We're currently pulling back just into this area. I have to say I favour a trade from further down in the area than right at this R2. I would have to get a very nice looking signal to trade from here. I think I would prefer to get into this trade a bit further down. Below here we've got a couple of areas of intraday support and resistance. As you can see, I'm not really interested in trading from these, to be honest. If I was in a trade short and it was heading towards these areas, then that's more why I've marked them in, because I want to be aware of them as potential stopping points for a trade rather than entry points for a trade. Again, another 4-hour support and resistance band a bit further down with a bit of intraday support and resistance confluence. I haven't marked in anything below that because I'm not really expecting price to move any further lower than there if it gets there. If it does, I will look at the areas below as and when it gets there. Further above, obviously we've just got the 4-hour support and resistance band above as the intraday support and resistance stops with the R3. So if it did get up here, I would be interested in looking at a trade there to short this back down. But as it stands, price is currently pulling back into this area just here, so I will keep my eyes peeled and let you know if any trade entries develop. Okay, so we're just a little bit after 9 o'clock now. We're just coming up to 10 past 9. And as you can see, price has fallen nicely back down into our support and resistance area. Here with the band and the two intraday levels. We have bounced slightly. As I said, I would rather that this bounce came from the lower end of this area than the higher end, and that has happened. However, if I show you the hourly chart, which is here, you can see that the previous hour is this big red pin bar, which is it's a pretty decent bearish sign. And it doesn't manage to break this 4-hour support and resistance band, which for going long is definitely a deterrent. I don't know if it's going to stop me. As you can see, we have sort of stopped at this level a couple of times now. Selling up here would have been more preferable, but it only got halfway and it fell back down to that support and resistance area. So let me pop that back. I will keep an eye on this 5-minute chart. We've tested the blue line here, which is what I like to see. We've actually poked through it quite nicely. If maybe price meanders back down into this sort of area down here, gives me a decent signal, then I think I probably will look to trade this. The target will be back up towards the R3, probably just below the R3, and we'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted. Okay, so we have moved down and we do look to be bouncing here. I actually wanted to get in after this candle here, but as you can see it's gapped up a little bit. So if it pulls back slightly, I'm going to look to get in at 57.9. So we're going to have to use the limit order. I'll pop that on at 57.9. And if it can get me in a buy position there, I will be happy to go long. And if it just goes without me, so be it. I'm not going to chase a trade. I find that's when most of my mistakes happen. If you're rushed into a decision or you're rushed into a worse position, then you're making less money from a profit point of view, and you're risking more from your stop point of view. If you think it negatively skews what you're going for in the first place. So I have an entry point. If it's going to give me that, which it has done nicely here, then I'll take it. If it's going to run away before I can get in, which happens, then fine. So we're in at 7257.8. Targets wise, like I said, I will probably be looking up towards here, where these closes are more or less. And stop wise will be same as always. So there is an emergency stop, as you can see, 40 points away. That barely ever gets stopped. What I look for is exit criteria to be met to take me out of the market. So simply, if we get 2 bearish closes, in this case through our blue line, and then a break of that second bearish close, then I will look to exit the market. But I'll talk you through that as and when that happens, if it does. And that can take me out at any point, I might add. So we might be halfway to target and that happens, then that's it, I'm out. If that means that I only make 2 points or only lose 2 points, whatever the result, that's what I take. That's what the testing shows works best, so that's what I do. So now we're into this trade. There's not really much to do other than wait, see what happens. I'll keep you posted with any updates, and let's see how this goes. Okay, so just to add a bit of an update to this trade, we can see that it's currently slightly down. As I said, the exit criteria really is 2 strong closings below the blue line, and then my stop will go to the break of that second candle. But we're just not getting the strong closes at the moment. You can see here we've got sort of a doji candle, a pin bar and a pin bar. I thought this one was actually going to close at its lows, and that would have been the first of the 2 candles. But I mean, good signs, well, subtle good signs for the trade, I guess, that there is buying still, even of a small sort down at this level. To be honest, I think it is a big ask for it to get back up here. I think if this trade is a profitable one, I think we'll probably come up and the exit method will take me out maybe up towards this region. But testing shows that's what I should target. This was the entry and the exit is the exit, so I can't predict what's going to happen. I don't like to pretend that I think I know what's going to happen. I just trade the setups that I see. So the target remains there, the stop remains, as I said, 2 strong closes through this blue line. At the minute, to be honest, we're just getting chop, sort of similar to the trade previous. I mean, we're getting price up that way and price coming down sort of this way, so we're sort of getting a mini triangle pattern at the minute on this short-term price action. To be honest, I find the closer you get to sort of 11, 12 o'clock, price does tend to have a nap between those times anyway, so maybe that's what we're heading towards, in which case it might be the afternoon that we see some more decisive movement. I mean, I think it was similar yesterday. Well, yesterday was pretty poor actually. Not much movement at all. I took a trade from this level yesterday. I'm literally chopped all day. I think I got out just above break even. I made a very small amount of money yesterday. But we'll see. It hasn't given me any exit signals yet or any reason to change anything, so we'll keep watching and I will keep you posted. 11:15 now, and we came close there to actually bringing our stop right up to the current price action. As you can see, I think we got up to about 7 or 8 points up. Price has then pulled back. It tested our blue line, closed right on it. Then we get our first close through. Then we get a sort of indecisive doji type candle. And then if this candle would have closed bearish at its lows, then my stop would have come 2 points below the low of that candle, and if it had moved down past that, I would have been out. However, as you can see, we've had this sort of green engulfing candle almost, and we're now back up above the blue line. So the exit criteria method is reset effectively. So what I will now look for to exit this trade is 2 new close belows the blue line. This one has now been reset effectively. But let's see if it can attack this high again, hopefully move past it. You never know. The good thing about having a move up like this now is a lot of the risk on this trade has disappeared, because as I said, because I use this exit method, I don't have a stationary static stop. Basically my stop sort of has a relation to this blue line, so the further this blue line can move in favour of the trade, then the less risk I potentially have on the trade, as closing below it now will be closer to my entry. So we're not looking at much risk on this trade anymore. However, there's not really a lot happening. It's not a particularly exciting one or anything, but we'll see. Hopefully we can move past this high now and start making our way towards the profit target, but I'll keep you posted. Okay, we're getting very close to our take profit now. 1 pip in fact. I just need it to blip up. Is it going to do it? As we can see, this has been a fairly trouble-free trade. We got in this back here. We had a little bit of drawdown while it waited before it making its move upwards, retraced, retested these intra highs, bounced, did the same again, retested these intra highs here. As you can see, the blue line was never broken past this point, and we actually came close to setting our stop at this point. Had this candle been bearish, our stop would have come right up. So you can see the exit method works really well. And from there we have moved nicely upwards. We are now toying with our take profit. I'm not going to mess about here. As you can see, a lot of selling came in at this area last time and we sold away quite quickly. If we get any messing about, I will just close this trade out. But we'll see. We've got 2 minutes left on this bar. I will see how this gets on. Okay, so just coming to the close now of this candle. We've got 5 seconds, and wow, was this trade changed. We were literally a pip away from our take profit, and I seriously thought it was going to get there. Very annoying. We've just dipped back into this zone. This is more of a doji candle, but I mean, it's free falling at the moment. If this is another sort of bearish candle like this one, then my stop will come to the 2 points below that candle, which will not be much above my entry at this point. As it's fallen so quickly, I wasn't expecting it to just sell off almost like it has last time, to be honest. A little bit annoying. But I'll tell you why I was happy to hold in the trade. First of all, we've got this close on the hourly chart, you can see this big green bullish candle closing at its highs. I fully expected this to carry on moving up, and again, if we look at the 4-hour chart, you can see that we've got this 4-hour 200 that's not been tested for a long old time. I thought price might want to come up and test this 200. Also, our next band is up here, and we have comfortably broken above this band. So I thought price will probably want to go and test that next band. It may do that. It may want to come back, retest this band, and then move up. Unfortunately, that will probably stop me out of my current trade if it wishes to do that. But I'm not going to hold on to it in hope that it comes round. My rules are my rules. This shouldn't be a loss, this trade, unless it absolutely plummets in this next candle. But who knows, we could still get up there. When 9 points up now from pretty much an 18-point target. Little bit annoying. In hindsight, it's easy to say it's a mistake. The annoyingness with this trade comes with the target, really. Usually I target the next band, but because of the squeezed price action from yesterday, as you can see, not much of a range on the price movement yesterday, the pivots for the day become quite squeezed, become quite close together, and the R3 and the S3 tend to really well, the price tends to stay in between those 2 points, hence the reaction the first time price got up here. So that's why I wanted to target within the R3 boundary. And looking at the previous price action, you can see there were many tails here, so I just lined it up with the closes. In hindsight, I should have probably just tucked it underneath the closes and kept it safe, but that's easy to say now we're looking at what's happened. In actual fact, if I was to take this trade again, I'd be more than happy with this take profit placement. I fully expected it to come and test the R3 again, and like I say, probably run up to that 4-hour 200 moving average, but that's just not happened. So, c'est la vie. If this finishes as a bearish candle, as it's looking like it's got a good chance of doing, my stop will come underneath that, and if I'm stopped, I'm stopped. It will be annoying, but it's not a losing trade, and we'll just move on to the next one. So I'll keep you updated. Okay, so it's looking like we're going to get that bearish close. My stop now comes right up underneath here. So the low of this candle is 63.8, so it's going to be at 61.8. It's not going to let me pop it there straight away, I don't think. No. There has to be a minimum distance that your stop's got to be away from the current price. So if this just comes straight down, then I'll have to manually close this out. However, if it blips up, it will let me place this stop. So we'll just keep watching for the moment. And it's falling to sleep. Well, I won't bore you with this. I will quicken this bit up and come back to you when I've got something else to say. Okay, so we finally got our stop in place now. Price moved up enough to let me place my stop where I needed to place it. If it comes down and stops me out, then this will be that trade over. It's looking like it's going to do it pretty sharpish. It's looking pretty bearish now. A second failed attempt up at this level. It didn't even get to the highs that it did previously. And if I quickly bring this hourly chart over here, look, you can see that this is now near the bottom of the previous hour's lows. So it could even engulf the previous hour, having been a really nice bullish candle there. So we'll see. This is very close to stopping me out now. I think it's half a point away, so if it pops down, that'll be me out of this one. And for the rest of the day, what would I do? I don't really have any bias. To start a short in this market, it would need to break below this area here. So as you can see, it's got quite a lot of support down here. We've still got our 4-hour support and resistance band. There's the 5-minute 200 and the R1 down here making up this whole area of support and resistance. So it would need to get down below here and return to give me short signals for me to be interested in that. But again, this isn't that attractive as we've got these intraday pockets in the way. I'll be looking to trade it to the band below, and these would really be in the way. So I would have to see on that one. The preference was definitely trading long. We took the correct trade. The trade more or less worked out. Like I say, hindsight shows we should have taken a slightly more safe take profit, and that will be journaled by me. Just because I do this every day doesn't mean that I get everything right. I don't. I just make less mistakes than I used to, and you're still learning every day that you do it. So this will be another lesson learned. Like I say, it was a tricky one with the R3. I'm not actually targeting. My usual target would be up at the next band, which would be up here. But with the low daily trading range at the moment, and the fact that the R3 does so often provide bounces and very decent resistance, I was more than happy to take profits there. The risk to reward was great, 18 points. I usually end up risking 10 to 15 points at the most. So that's a decent risk reward, and actually on this trade, look, our stop out is going to be 4 points in the green. So yeah, a good trade risk reward wise. Just a shame that we couldn't get out at the highs, but who knows? We're hanging on by the skin of our teeth. It could shock us yet. I'll keep you updated. Okay, so we've finally been stopped. Pretty annoying, I have to say. It was a good setup down here, managed well, and it did get right up to, I'd say, profit level a pip away. But sometimes that happens, and you've just got to shrug it off and move on to the next one. We protected the capital. We did make 4 pips, a humongous 4 pips, but it all adds up at the end of the day. So I'm going to wrap up the live trading video here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you get to see how I do things. As you saw, this is a really frustrating trade, and in the earlier days it's easy to get so annoyed with trades like this and go and do something silly, like, as you can see now, it's just dipped down to my stop, and now it's looking like it's poking back up a bit. Well, you can start telling yourself that that's going to go back up to your take profit level, so you enter in, and in actual fact it's made a high, it's made a lower high, it might go on to make a lower low now, and you know, irrational decisions getting back into positions because you felt you should have done something that you didn't do only lead to further losses. So unless something happens that meet my trading rules, I won't be doing anything. And to be honest, that's a hard learned lesson itself. There have been many times that I've done exactly what I've just said there, and you get burned, and you get burned, and you get burned. And it's about just developing that experience to deal with things like this. This won't be the last time that this happens to me. I'm dead sure of that. But like I said, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please drop a like on it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. I'll try to do these as often as I can. Maybe I'll make Thursday a weekly thing if possible. It might not always work out that that's the day I have free to do this, but if I can, I will. And if you've got any suggestions or anything you want to see, please let me know in the comments below. And thanks very much.